There's an unfortunate new record for the number of coronavirus deaths in a single day. The United States saw its highest single day coronavirus death toll to date this week on Wednesday with 3,157 deaths. 3,157 people died in the United States on a single day from one reason, and that was coronavirus. The number was actually 20% higher than the previous single day high of 2,603 on April 15th, and brings the total US death toll to 273,799. I'm sure the number is higher at this point, but that's data from Johns Hopkins University. But these right-wing governors remain defiant, and one of them is Ron DeSantis from Florida, who has decided to double down on his disastrous response to COVID. Watch.
Have you considered or reconsidered a statewide mask mandate, or the CDC has recommended it as cases are rising again?
How has that worked out in the states that have done it? Has that stopped an outbreak in Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan? What about New Jersey? What about all these states where you have explosion in cases? So, I mean, at some point, does the observed experience matter? I'm opposed to mandates, period. I don't think they work. People in Florida wear them when you go out. I mean, they don't have to be strung up by a bayonet to do it. Fining people is, I think, totally overboard. And I think, respectfully, there's narratives that like lockdowns work, and they don't. If you look at the evidence, business closures, all this stuff, would you rather be 44th in cases and be open like Florida is, or would you rather be in the top 10 in cases and be locked down and have continual lockdowns far into the future? And that's another thing. The lie of the lockdown was if you just lock down, then you can beat the virus. Well, why are people having the lockdown 2 or 3 times then? If lockdowns are so effective, why is that?
All right, so why are lockdowns effective? They're effective as they were in the early stages of this virus in flattening the curve so you don't overwhelm hospitals, you don't overwhelm doctors and nurses. In California, there's a total of 100 hospital beds left, 100. Okay, so the reason why there's a current lockdown in the state of California, it was announced today by Gavin Newsom, is because we don't have the capacity to take care of everyone who gets sick. You have to slow the virus down. It's not to completely eradicate the virus. Lockdowns are not meant to eradicate the virus, but it's meant to slow community spread. But I'm talking to someone who doesn't really care about facts or logic. I just wish that people like Ron DeSantis were just honest, right? No, we don't want to shut the economy down. That's what it's really about. They want to force people to go back to work. And to be fair, people want to go back to work because they're getting absolutely no financial relief from our federal government. They're just not. And people are desperate and they want to go back to work and risk their health, their family's health, just to be able to earn a living. That's how pathetic the response, not just from DeSantis, but from our elected lawmakers has been overall, okay? On a federal level, on a local level, it's just been a disaster. We are so uniquely terrible at responding to this pandemic because it requires a community mentality. It requires people working together to do the right thing to save as many human lives as possible. But we live in a country that doesn't value human lives, certainly not abroad. And we're now learning, certainly not here either.
Okay, so first, the fun point before we get to the serious stuff. I'm pretty sure you don't get strung up by a bayonet. I think that you get stabbed by a bayonet and you get strung up by a rope, but facts probably don't matter anymore to Republicans, so that's probably the least of their problems. So now on to really serious stuff. So he says, Florida's doing great. Really? It's now the 3rd state. It just crossed over 1 million cases of COVID. So as usual, total utter lie by Ron DeSantis. It's doing disastrously. Now there's one other governor that's thinking of running for president in 2024 on the Republican side that also says, I don't care about the health of my constituents at all. Like with Ron DeSantis, I'm willing to play with their lives. Florida, by the way, home to a high percentage of senior citizens. Everybody knows that. He's like, who cares? My career is way more important than their lives. So Kristi Noem in South Dakota is the only one that's worse. I mean, record-breaking positivity rates in South Dakota. So DeSantis says, what difference does it make, man? Closing down doesn't work anyway. Being open is just as good. Really? In South Dakota now, the positivity rate is over 40%. Unheard of. No one's ever seen a positivity rate like that, except early November, also in South Dakota, where the positivity rate was an astounding 58%. So South Dakota has worse cases per capita than anywhere in the world. Why? Sturgis, they held a biker rally where no one wore masks, etc. It kept going and going and going. And they have a callous Republican governor who only thinks about her own career, who says, let him die. Who cares? Let him die. So they're dying in record numbers in South Dakota, and yes, also in Florida.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the number of new infections, of course, has increased. We had a single day high of 200,000 new coronavirus cases in one day. That happened this week. These numbers also don't even reflect the damage that's been done by Thanksgiving traveling, right? Because the results from that are delayed. We're gonna find out in about a week or so how much that travel has led to an increase in community spread. And one other thing, Ron DeSantis, much like other Republican lawmakers, brings up this issue of, well, look at these states that actually did the right thing. These states that actually did have some social distancing guidelines and did have mask mandates. I mean, numbers are going up there as well. We don't. It's the United States is the United States. Like, we're not individual countries that have borders that avoid letting people from Florida in California, vice versa. Like, we're one country. People can travel across state lines easily, spreading the virus. And they have been through holiday travel. Holiday travel exploded during Thanksgiving weekend. So, I mean, we're gonna see how this is all gonna play out, but it's not looking good. And at this point, for me personally, I'm just kind of like standing by, begging family members not to do anything stupid until there's a vaccine or something safe that will protect them from this virus, really. Okay, it sucks that it's every man for themselves. Like, that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, of course. I don't want my family members interacting with Republicans. They carry disease. In this case, literally. So let me give you the latest numbers just to be absolutely clear. The hospitals are totally overwhelmed. They've exceeded 100,000 new people that are being hospitalized every day for the first time ever. So over 200,000 new cases. That's happened for the second time. These are all records. They're not just US records, they're international records, world records. And on Wednesday, we had 3,157 people die in the country from coronavirus, world record. And remember what Donald Trump said, it's gonna magically disappear. There is no amount of Donald Trump being wrong and stupid that will get through to Republican voters. They're like, no. Leading the world in deaths is a great idea. We went from worst to first. We went from first to worst. Are we tired of winning yet? And yet MAGA's like, oh man, being the best at Americans dying more than any other country is so great. I love Trump and I'll listen to any lie he says. What am I supposed to do with these guys? What is the whole country supposed to do? And the answer is avoid them. They're literally dangerous to your health.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.